Hey everyone, how you doing today? It's me, David, coming to you from the Beatles Corner. We are collecting the Beatles 101. And, it's not all about the records and the music. 98% of it is. But it's not all. Collecting the Beatles isn't all about the music. Today, we are going to discuss this game. It's called BEATLEMANIA, the Illustrated Treasury. Released in 1984, it's a trivia game. And, back in the 80s, late 70s, going into the 80s, Trivial Pursuit was the big game. So it spawned a lot of imitators, or I shouldn't say imitators because this wasn't an imitation of it, but it spawned a lot of trivia games. And I think this was one of the earliest Beatles trivia games. Um, got it got this particular game. My wife actually got it for me. Um, about 4 years ago, I think July of 19. Not 19. July of 2019. For a particular purpose. So a a few of us, were gonna go see the Fab Four, which was probably my favorite Beatles tribute band. And a couple of weeks before we went to see it, we got together at our house, did some barbecue, did some brisket, did some ribs, and of course, being 52% Sicilian, I made too much food. Homemade mac and cheese. I'm hungry. Got dinner in the oven as we speak. But after dinner, we played this game. My friend Rick, which I'll I'm going to mention this again in our close up of this game. During the pandemic, died and didn't didn't really know him super well because we got together. Four couples got together, and Rick was a cesspool of Beatles information. Basically, he was the one to beat. I had to play him in a trivia game. He had the Beatles edition of Trivial Pursuit. His wife and daughter had told me that Rick would study the question cards on Trivial Pursuit. So I was like, told my wife, honey, I can't play Beatles Trivial Pursuit, but I remember a Beatles trivia game from the 80s, and she found this for me. I beat Rick by half a point. Um, Unfortunately, I can't engage in a rematch. But before I get all weepy, let's take a close up look at this game, all right? Okay, so this is the Beatlemania, the Illustrated Treasury trivia game. So let's take a quick look. We're going to open up the box and see what we got. Okay, first thing we got on top is the game board. Let's see what we got. I haven't even looked at this thing in a few years. So what I should do is turn it here like that. And, yeah, there's the spots. And just all the different countries, the cavern. Again, I have not looked at this thing in a few years, so exploring this together. We got our score pad. Now, pretty bittersweet. It's really sad. So this is the game that I played with some friends back in August of 2019. So, I mean, we're on 3.5 years now. Before pandemic, I won. Big 7 points, which doesn't sound like much, but when you're talking about half points, quarter points, full points, and the sad thing is my friend Rick, who died during the pandemic, had 6.5 points. I had the 7 points. Can't get the rematch, but this is a little bit of a time capsule for me. So there's that. What do we have in the box? We got the the little pawns, playing pieces. We got the die. Ooh, I could always use an extra pen. And the trivia cards. Let's take a quick look here. So, let's pull out one of the cards. So I can show you here who sang Lead on If I Needed Someone. And that would be George. What album does I Want to Tell You appear on? That would be Revolver. What album does it With a Little Help from My Friends appear on? Sgt. Pepper. Who sang the lead on You Won't See Me? Well, of course, that's Paul. Oh, I have two cards there. That didn't look right. George, Revolver, Sgt. Pepper, Paul. This is interesting. I want to see if we could, figure out a couple of... So here's a few harder things. Who's saying It Takes a Lot to Laugh, It Takes a Train to Cry on the Concert from Bangladesh album. So we got some solo stuff on here. What album does It's Only Love appear on? Now here's the kicker. This was released in 1984, as mentioned. Now, in 1984, published in the United States, or was it made in Canada, the proper answer will be Rubber Soul. But with this game, so a lot of your let's say 1990 or international players would say, well, hey, it comes on the Rubber Soul, no, on the Help album, not Rubber Soul. But you got to keep in mind, USA, Canada, North America, 1984. This Rubber Soul album, It's Only Love appeared on. So that was some of the stuff that maybe, my friend Rick didn't catch, and I did. I had to keep telling him, Rick, 1984, United States. Had to help him out, because I'm that kind of guy. So, there we go. And let's go back to the Beatles corner. So there you go. BEATLEMANIA, the Illustrated Treasury Trivia Game. It says on there, the trivia game. This was, again, from 1984. The real challenge of this game, like I mentioned in the close-up video, is that it was done here in the state, Canada, for the U.S. North American market. So the real challenge right now is basically you have to be hardcore and have your mindset as far as the American catalog when it comes to the Beatles albums. Fun game. Really enjoyed it. Haven't played it since August of 2019. I don't really have a lot of friends that are hardcore Beatle maniacs. Hopefully, my friends Drew and Eric out in central Pennsylvania, next time I go out to central Pennsylvania, I should bring this along and we should have a go at this game. So, I guess the challenge is on. It is a fun game. I'm looking forward to playing it again with worthy opponents. You gotta be worthy. And maybe you can unseat me off my throne. So there you go. Until next time, it's me, David, coming to you from the Beatles Corner. We are collecting the Beatles 101. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Thanks so much for watching.